Count on David Carnes for your reliable Tennessee Valley forecast.
I do not try to hide behind the fact that technology can kind of throw me for a loop. I tend to be a little bit resistant sometimes to the benefits it can bring to your life. But this morning, I've got my phone in my hand because I'm talking with Dr. Tiffany Ahlberg from Ahlberg Audiology, and she said, Julie, there's an app for that. Nice to see you this morning, Tiffany.
Thank you. It's good to see you too, Julie.
Not so much an app for my being not a technological dummy, but there is an app, lots of them actually, that you're using on a regular basis to help your patients at Ahlberg Audiology.
Yes, so many people don't realize that there's apps for many different purposes when it comes to hearing. And so I'm sharing those with my patients every day, and they get so excited about there being a solution that's free in a palm of their hands. And so I thought I would share that with everyone today.
And I guess one starting point for me would be that, like me, there are a lot of people who are a little bit, they just get nervous when they think about trying something new. The apps are also, besides being free, they're user-friendly, aren't they, Tiffany?
Some of them, yes. So the ones that I recommend are very user-friendly. If you just go into your app store and you start downloading apps, and I have done it, there are a few that aren't as user-friendly as others, and so I'm going to share with you the most user-friendly ones.
Okay, I'll let you start then.
Okay, my favorite one, and I actually am an iPhone girl, so, and I have nothing, I like Androids too, and I'm learning that with the hearing aids because the hearing aids are now working with both iPhones and Androids, but I have always myself had an iPhone. And unfortunately, there is an app for the iPhone. It's not as user-friendly as the one for the Android. So the one for the iPhone that I recommend is called AVA, A-V-A, and it's a live transcribe. So basically, it's like closed captioning for conversation. So if you're in a room with someone, and let's say you're wearing a mask, then they're wearing a mask and you're having trouble understanding them, then you can use this app, AVA, on your iPhone to translate. Now, it's a little bit more, you have to set up a profile and things like that, so a little bit more to it. Now, I actually, in my office, bought a tablet, a very inexpensive tablet, just so that I can communicate with my patients when they're wearing a mask. And if their word understanding is very poor and you have a mask on, obviously we've talked about this before, it's very difficult to understand other people. So I bought a tablet, and there is a very, very, very user-friendly. I mean, you download it and it just immediately starts transcribing, and it's called Live Transcribe. And if someone has an Android, I put that on their phone. Almost every single day I'm downloading that app on the phone, but we use it in the office to communicate with people. For example, if their hearing aids aren't working, we're taking their hearing aids out, they're a cochlear implant patient, and I just set up my tablet and it is closed captioning for my office. It translates every single thing that we say in the office.
Well,
those are fantastic for people with hearing loss that have trouble understanding. Just a little boost of confidence. Let's say you go to the store and you have that on your phone and you miss a word. I mean, if you have that going, you can look and find that one word that you just missed. So very helpful. It's helpful in the office, helpful out in the real world.
Well, and I'm thinking about how good the timing is for you to be bringing this to our attention because the holidays are around the corner. So maybe someone's watching you today and their mom or dad is struggling with some hearing loss. I guess the child could download this onto their phone, and then around Thanksgiving time when you're all together, let them try it out and see how easy it is to use.
Definitely. And I think about this too in a hospital situation. So let's say somebody's in a hospital and they're not hearing very well. People are wearing masks. They can't understand. This would be a perfect way for people to see, and it saves your conversation. So if a child wanted to come back later and look at the conversation, then that whole thing is transcribed and you can go back.
That is great. Okay, now did you tell me before we got on the air that there's also an app for tinnitus?
Yes, there are many, many different apps for tinnitus, but I'm going to share with you two of my favorite. The first one is called Widex Zen, Z-E-N. The first name is Widex, W-I-D-E-X. And it is a fantastic app for people that have tinnitus. to use, and it has lots of different therapies and sounds that are beneficial for people with tinnitus. The other one that is a favorite of mine is called Resound, Resound, tinnitus, Tinnitus relief. So that is another one that I recommend all the time for my patients. Again, it has a layering of different sounds that people can use, so that you could say, okay, here's a beach sound and I want birds in the background. You can tailor it to your liking, and they have lots of different sounds that mask that annoying tinnitus that people complain of a lot.
We had a conversation, you and I, about tinnitus not too long ago on the air, and I thought it was very reassuring for you to be able to tell people that it does not have to be something that you just are going to struggle with forever. There are ways to work around it and still live a very happy life.
Yes, and these apps are a great start to that. So if you have it and you haven't yet made it to see a professional, just start off with the sound therapy within these apps, and it will help.
I know people were writing down, as you said, everything. So are there more that you have to share?
Yeah, so the other one that I really like it's mainly for people who have hearing aids already, and they say, well, I hear, my problem is not hearing, now I'm hearing everything, I still have some issues understanding. And just like hearing, when people don't hear for a really long time and then they get hearing aids, their word understanding or discrimination still has to be helped, because their brain has forgotten how to understand some of these sounds. So there's another app called Starkey, Starkey, Hear Coach, and it's a free app that helps people develop that discrimination again. It's kind of like physical therapy for your ears, to learn how to make sense of those sounds again.
And Starkey is a manufacturer of hearing aids, right?
So the Widex is too, and so is Resound. So a lot of these are hearing aid companies, but you do not have to have that particular hearing aid.
Okay.
For tinnitus, you do not have to have a hearing aid at all. So all of these are just free apps that they have developed, but that anyone can use.
Okay, and here I go with my technological dummy question, but you mentioned how you have a tablet that you bought for your office. If someone doesn't have a smartphone, but maybe they do have an iPad at home, can these still work on that?
Oh, absolutely, yes. And like I said, I don't have an Android, but I just bought a cheap tablet for the office for that one app.
Perfect. Okay, so are you accepting patients right now before I let you run?
Yes, we are.
You are. Okay, so I wanted to ask you that. I don't typically, but I think that your heart always comes out when we have these conversations, and for you to share with people some apps that you're using in the office today, I bet means a lot to people. So thanks for that, Tiffany.
Well, I hope it helps.
I hope it does too. You can get in touch with her office. It's Ahlberg Audiology in Cleveland. 641-0956 is their phone number. Dr. Tiffany Ahlberg. You'll see her on 3+U every month. Aren't we lucky? We're back after this.
Let's be honest,